Alright, what's up everybody? Brian here, and this is my thoughts on the passing of Big Van Vader. As most of you know, it was talked about today that Big Van Vader passed away at the age of 63. From what I've seen, apparently he died Monday or something like that. Monday evening or yesterday evening. It said Monday evening when I read the, the online, and I don't know if there was news about today or what have you, but I wanted to give my thoughts on some and share and give as a fan share some of my memories as far as matches are concerned of Big Van Vader's. Um, First off, and before I do, my condolences go out to his family at this trying time right now. So my thoughts and prayers are with them. Um, Vader, as a fan, growing up watching wrestling, was perhaps one of the best, if not the best, big men in the business, bar none. Um, some of my favorite matches that I remember watching of Vader's was um, his matches with Sting, as well as his 1993 Starrcade match with Ric Flair, which took place in Ric's hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I remember watching, or back then, um, I would listen to to that match. I didn't see what was going on because the picture we had like was scrambled, but you could hear what was going on. And I remember listening to that match and being, just on the edge of my seat because I'm like thinking to myself, there's no way Ric Flair is going to be able to beat Vader. Vader was on a major role at that time, and basically it was like, there's no way Flair's going to beat this guy. And Flair beat him in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and captured the world championship, which if he would have lost, Ric Flair's career would have been over at the hands of Vader. But that was not to be. This would lead to Flair Vader 2 inside of the Thunder Cage, if I remember correctly. That they supposedly said Vader had built himself. They did that whole commercial with Vader building the Thunder Cage and everything um, for the lead up to Super Brawl, which was in February of '94. I remember his matches with Sting, as I mentioned. I do remember that whole storyline of with Vader and Cactus Jack, where Vader I think it was on a Saturday night show, he power bombed, or I believe he power bombed Cactus onto the arena floor, and they did the whole thing where Cactus got carried out in a stretcher, and leading to Cactus having amnesia, not knowing who he was, and this would lead to Vader facing Cactus Jack at I believe it was Halloween Havoc in '93, sort of thing. I believe it was '93 at Halloween Havoc where um, Vader fought Cactus Jack in the Spin the Wheel Make the Deal match. Um, I also remember when Vader first debuted in WWE, he made such a huge statement as on Raw the night after the Royal Rumble '96, attacking Gorilla Monsoon, which was who at the time I should say was the storyline president of WWE. Then Vader would go on to feud with Yokozuna. He would then, everybody remembers that match with Vader and Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam '96. Apparently, from a lot of the shoot interviews that I've watched, um, that they said, or especially the one with Jim Cornette, who was Vader's manager at the time, he basically talked about how the plan was for Vader to win the championship at Survivor Series '96, and then Shawn would take the belt back at the Royal Rumble in his hometown, but that did not happen because of Shawn Michaels' um, attitude and back politicking at that time and in those years. Um, so I remember those. I remember those matches. I remember Vader and Kane's feud, which had was at I believe it was No Way Out '98, where Kane, after he beat Vader, he grabbed a wrench and hit Vader in the face with it, causing some damage to Vader's eye and face. Also, everybody remembers the time where Vader got um, what was it? Got jailed in Kuwait for putting his hands on a like a talk show or news reporter that was doing an interview with him, and I believe it was him and the Undertaker. He did an interview with, and Vader grabbed the news reporter and put his hands on him and stuff like that, and he was jailed in Kuwait. I remember that whole thing. Um, I remember when Vader. I'm trying to think what was the other one. There was one other one. Um, what is it? I remember when Vader came back to WWE, and I believe it was 2012 or 2013. They were doing the lead up to the Raw 1000, and he faced Heath Slater, where Slater made a challenge to any Raw legend, was challenging like Raw legends guys that were a part of Raw's history, and Vader answered the challenge because Slater was using, "It's my time, it's Slater's time," and then you heard, "It's time, it's time, it's Vader time," and Vader came out and beat him. He did have a brief stint in NWA TNA. Before that, before he came back. And then the last time we saw Vader on WWE TV, he was inducting Stan Hansen into the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, I think Vader should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, just like a lot of people probably do. That he should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame years before this day, before his passing. Why he wasn't inducted, I don't know why, but I don't know why, but I have this gut feeling in the pit of my gut that we're going to hear next year, the night before WrestleMania, that Vader's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which I think is sad, and it's really sad that a lot of these guys that have been inducted, that have passed, are not there to receive, to receive, and they're to be inducted and to do their speech and tell stories of on the road and stuff like that, because I think Vader would probably have some good stories from his time in Japan, and stuff like that. So I think it's sad if it does happen next year. I think it's sad that he wasn't inducted before this. While he was alive, he had been dealing with a lot of health issues. He did have surgery on his heart, and a lot of, like, I remember reading online of how Vader said that a doctor told him that he had 2 years to live, which I was really sad about, because Vader was was, like I said, a really talented talented wrestler. He, even though he was a big man, he still could move around the ring really quickly. Um, but yeah, I just find it to be I think it is sad. You know, it's a very sad loss for the wrestling world, for any wrestling fans out there that are fans of Vader's. It is a sad loss. It really is a huge loss because, like I mentioned, Vader was one of the best big men, if not the best big man, um, bar none. And he will be missed. And I'm just want to say that I even though WWE will probably put him in next year. I just think it is sad that he wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame years before this, and they had opportunities to put him in, but if they put him in next year, fine, But I think it's just, and I'm not hating on WWE for this. I don't want to make it sound like I am, but I do think it's sad that Vader was has, was not inducted um, before his passing. He should have been inducted way before his passing. So if they put him in, fine, but it won't be this. It's not the same that if he was inducted before his passing. So um, all I can say is that Vader will be missed. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm rambling a little bit in this video, but I had taken a nap earlier, and when I looked at my phone, I saw that he had passed. They announced his passing, and I just wanted to, share some of my favorite matches of Vader's and moments that I remember watching of his on television. So with that being said, all I can say, and I'm sorry about that, all I can say is that Vader will be missed, and basically he will be missed, and my thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends at this time. So with that being said, as always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.